the Virtual Ball Boys podcast. My name is Chris, and I am joined once again by my good friend, Matt.
You know, when the medieval band gets out their drum and their lute and their fife, and you hear the drummer starting going boop ba da ba doo ba da da doo da da da, you know it's gonna be a fucking good fucking banger song coming.
Yeah, what is that like beat? Like what is that like what's like the
do you want the layman's terms or the musical explanation?
Start with the musical explanation and then do layman's terms.
Okay, so most music can be summarized in what's either called simple meter or compound meter.
Okay.
Simple meter is divided into two. Compound is divided into three. So like most pop music is divided into two, but there's some shit divided into three, which a lot of like medieval time music is.
Okay, I see.
And I think that should have been layman enough. So like a lot of medieval shit when you get like almost like kind of swan like jazzy type things, or like a shuffle song. That's a
banger. That is a banger.
Yeah, like that shit. Like every beat is divided into 3 sections. Fucking love that shit. Pirates of the Caribbean, fun shit.
There you go.
Pirates of the Caribbean ass shit.
Maybe the one good thing to come out of the Pirates of the Caribbean movie. Sorry, that's shots fired at Pirates of the Caribbean. Anyways, welcome. That was your music talk with Matt. Of course, at Havana Music on Twitter. Right? That's your handle?
Yep, Havana_music.
Oh, _music, that's right. We are at the mid-season point, folks. We did it. 9 weeks. Done. Kaput. Finessed. Or finished.
It's over.
Not finessed. I mean,
was
it finessed? I don't know. It's been
was
kind
it
of
finessed?
messy.
Some people did some finessing.
There was maybe some finessing. Maybe the Eagles are a finesse team. Everyone else has kind of been a mess to date. But it's been a very interesting season, to say the least. And we have a lot of interesting things to talk about. We are going to redo some of our predictions. We're going to redo our playoff predictions. We're going to redo our award predictions. Of course, we will maybe redo our Super Bowl predictions, depending on whether or not we still feel confident in what we made early in the year. We'll also we won't go too hard, but we'll maybe go division by division. Maybe talk a little bit about just where we're at with some of these teams. And of course, we will pick the first week of the second half of games, including a Germany game, which I'm kind of weirdly excited about.
Guten Tag.
Yes. But anyway, is that the only German you know? Or
9.
There you go. All right, good. And so then we are going to right now we're gonna recap week 9, and we're gonna start with our game of the week. And I tried to get off of this because I was like, I don't know. And then Matt off camera was just like, what other game scored 30 points apiece? And I think the only reason why I wanted to get off of this, because this is the 3rd time we've had the Dolphins as a game of the week.
It's fine. Well, the Dolphins play interesting football.
Yes.
Is the problem.
Right. And when you have as a dynamic of offense as the Dolphins do, it's kind of
bad of a defense currently.
Right, yeah, it kind of helps. But Dolphins and Bears was actually a pretty good game, and Matt, you actually got to see a good chunk of this, right?
Yeah, I saw pretty much the whole game. Like, so here like, couple things went wrong. Otherwise, the Bears would have won. First was a punt block touchdown return that the Dolphins got. Second one was a very blatant pass interference call that the refs just missed.
Yikes.
On Chase Claypool at the end of the game. Other than that, both teams played great. It was fun to watch both of them. Both offenses seemed fantastic. Justin Fields, for the 3rd game in a row, has been good. Has been great as a quarterback. And I think that, like, the more this offense starts to, like, get going, it just feels like they've finally figured it the fuck out, and it's so fun to watch. And I'm so excited for the future. 2023 is going to be a really big year. Bears are definitely out of it this year, especially without their 2 best defensive players anymore. But
sure.
you see this step forward and you feel really good about it. And then there's the Dolphins who, like I said, in the games that Tua has literally every game that Tua has played and not died in, he's been phenomenal. The Dolphins' offense has been phenomenal. And I think that they're going to continue to be great, if not elite, for the rest of the season.
I wouldn't. This is not like a preview of my playoff predictions or anything. I'm not like I fair warning. I do not have the Bears written down, but I wouldn't count out the Bears yet, just because Justin feels like he has just turned it on. Like he is.
Yes.
I mean, he was. I think the stat was that he was the first quarterback ever to rush for 140 yards and throw 3 touchdown passes. I believe that was the stat.
That, and he set the single game regular season rushing record.
Right, like
in that game.
That's wild, and like
including a 61-yard touchdown run.
Like the dude, like. I think so many of us earlier this year, and like I think we still felt like, okay, this kid has talent, but I think a lot of us felt like, oh man, like this might not end up working out. Like this just feels like it's just kind of falling apart. Like it felt like at one point Justin Fields was the worst quarterback in the league. Now he's one of the best. Like that's just how the season has like drastically changed, and I think that there's. I want Jinx
best quarterback in the NFC North. Yes.
Oh, but by a landslide, by easily. Like I've been griping about the Vikings kind of being 7-1 and not really being like I've not been impressed by the Vikings, and part of that is because like Kirk Cousins he's not terrible. He still has he does have a pretty ball every once in a while, but like he's just fine. He gets the job done. Kirk Cousins, yeah.
Kirk Cousins.
Aaron Rodgers obviously sucks ass, and Jared Goff is like also kind of in that same category, of either sucking ass or just playing fine. Aaron Rodgers might be the worst quarterback in the NFC North, is what I'm saying. But I like it's just it is very clear that this is a dynamic playmaker, and I'm just excited to see what can happen. I don't think they can make the playoffs. But I think that they'll get close. I think that they'll be competitive in a lot of these games. And I think that's going to be helpful. As for the Dolphins, you got the win, and that's good. The defense does worry me a bit for the Dolphins. But regardless of that, I just think this is also the season of Tua finally showing up. And I feel like that needs to kind of be... Like, we talked all off seasons about, like, we don't know if Tua's going to be the right guy. And it's showing that maybe the patience is going to be paying off now, and that he, with the right weapons and with as good of an offense as Mike McDaniel is running at this point, like it seems like they have gotten that fixed. It's now just getting the defense to also play well alongside them.
Because maybe it's not just pure quarterback talent that decides if a quarterback plays well, but also offensive scheme and playmakers around him.
I'm shocked at that assessment. How dare you bring logic into this?
How dare I bring logic and not jumping to conclusions into this?
Right, exactly. The other side of this too with the Dolphins is that like. Look, Mike McDaniel has done a great job as a first-year head coach, and like he's proven that like okay, cool, like he's a good head coach, and he's gonna do well. I still think about though with how the Dolphins' defense has kind of regressed so much this year. Mm-hmm. Why the fuck did they get rid of Brian Flores? I mean, I understand that the owner hated him, and obviously there was tension there, and it was just gonna be a matter of time, and then of course the lawsuit, everything, but like. Before that season collapsed for them, they had such a good run with Flores, and it just felt like that they kept on getting back into being competitive every once in a while, and it's just like, man, this defense was good under him, and you toss that all away. It just, but if honestly though, if the trade-off is, hey, you might have gotten your franchise quarterback at this point. You have all these great offensive weapons, and they're working well. Maybe it's not the worst thing in the world, but I just feel bad that like that Flores had to be the almost like the sacrifice for that, and everything around that situation still just feels bad to me.
I agree.
Let's talk about blowout of the week, which I feel like, honestly, I don't even want to talk about the game. It's Colts at Patriots, but all right, flowers for the Patriots. Their defense is playing amazing. Offense is still not great, but whatever. Like they're getting the job done. The Indianapolis Colts. We have breaking news. Breaking news for this podcast. It happened yesterday. Frank Reich has been fired. He's gone. This is after a run that included basically every year he had a new quarterback. And it was just the tumultuous kind of state of being that the Colts were in of not really having this quarterback to lead on. It just ended up piling up. There's blame all around. You could blame Reich for just not getting their quarterbacks ready. You could blame Ballard for not, handling the quarterback position well. But it does feel like just an organizational failure consistently, that they consistently just did not know, just handle the quarterback position as a whole super poorly and completely ruined their Super Bowl window when they had a really talented roster for at least a couple seasons.
Yeah. Colts just, you said it best. The wheels fell off. The carousel of, let's bring in the old quarterback at the end of his career has not paid off for them.
No.
And they're either going to need to draft really high, which they can, or they'll need to, I would say, get another free agent. But I mean, look at Russell Wilson; that's not a guarantee. So, it's got to be a draft pick. The Colts cannot just be the place where quarterback careers go to die.
And I think, if I'm reading the situation well, that I think that tanking is what they're going to try to do. Because later that day, after Frank Reich was fired, the former Pro Bowl center for the Colts, Jeff Saturday, who famously, of course, played with Peyton Manning, was hired as the interim head coach of the Colts.
Not let's make the defensive coordinator the head coach, right? Or the offensive coordinator the head coach. Not that. No, just
or any position coach, anyone that has been a coach.
Any coach. No, let's hire a former player who's never coached before.
He's coached high school, I guess.
Who's coached high school?
I guess, right? That's all you need. Well, apparently
Phillip Rivers has coached high school.
Okay,
would you hire Phillip Rivers?
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
Phillip Rivers has coached high school. Would you hire Phillip Rivers as your head coach?
I mean,
would you hire Josh McCown as your head coach high school?
Well, we know the Texans, their fellow AFC South team wants to hire Josh McCown as a head coach. Good fucking God. And what was even worse was the press conference, where essentially Jim Irsay doubled down on the fact that he likes that Jeff Saturday doesn't really have a lot of experience because he's, quote, I this is not a direct quote, but he was he would be scared like other head coaches of of not going with the analytics, because all the head coaches are too scared. The head coaches are so scared that they must follow analytics. I'm glad that we have Jeff Saturday, who won't just follow analytics. My dude, you have your own analytics department in your building.
My brother in Christ, you are the analytics.
And also, not even he says oh, you don't need a whole, this is not rocket science we do here. Anyone could be a head coach. My dude, if anyone could be if anyone could do this job, if it's so fucking easy, how about you just hire the most experienced person on your fucking coaching staff? You have Reggie Wayne on your coaching staff. If you wanted a former player, a former Colts legend as your head coach, just hire him. And I get it, it's an interim role. It's not this is not a permanent thing, but it just feels a little strange that you just picked off a guy who has been on ESPN for years now and has not really been showing any of his coaching chops and just put him into one of the most important positions for a football team. Like, it's wild. It's absolutely wild. That's why my theory is they're probably doing this to tank. But the theories and the things that he was coming out with in that press conference, Jim Irsay, I don't know what. We are at a point in society where we're kind of used to billionaires like completely showing their ass consistently
and having no idea what they're talking about
or what they're doing.
Or what they're doing, and everyone assumes that they know what they're doing because they have a lot of zeros next to their name, which they probably don't actually have a lot of zeros because that would be weird if they had an exact amount of money
right
to their net worth.
You know what? That's a fair point. That's a fair way of looking at that. It would be very weird. What if you were just so like anal about that? Like, I need to have all zeros at all times. Like, do they purposely like take out money out of their
from
account?
The bank account just to see the zeros,
just to make sure to keep the zeros?
Yeah.
That's you know what, that I honestly
I wouldn't put it past some of them.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. like that is not a long shot of a theory. But yeah, so the Colts are wild at the moment. I was kind of stunned by this whole thing because I just didn't think the Colts were that kind of organization. I don't know, like, again, like, you can never trust billionaires in general, but like, it just felt it was just like this. It always felt like there was some stability here with the Colts compared to some other organizations, including the one that Jim Irsay literally called out 2 weeks ago, when he was like, "Yeah, we should get rid of Dan Snyder as an NFL owner," Snyder, sorry, which granted, like, he's right about that, but also he seems to have some issues on his own as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was wild. It was a wild day yesterday.
Yep. Team Chaos of the Week.
The Team Chaos of the Week is a big one. The New York Jets are... They went in probably as the biggest underdog of this Sunday, maybe. And they beat the Bills. The Bills, they played a close game the entire time. The both teams were in it the entire time. And ultimately, the Bills... one last shot, Hail Mary shot to Gabe Davis, was not enough for the Bills to come back in the game, and the Jets were victorious. And Matt, like, I don't. The only thing with the Bills is that, like, the only concern really that I have still right now about the Bills is Josh Allen and his injury, which he suffered in this game, which is a UCL injury. As far as this, what seemed the tone that has been set about this injury is it's kind of up in the air, but it sounds optimistic. Like, it sounds like he probably will play on Sunday, but
yeah, it doesn't sound like it's bad, or like it sounds like it's good news. But if it's not good news, it's really bad news.
It's really bad. I'm gonna stay optimistic and say the Bills that Josh Allen will be fine and he'll get back into the groove of things.
I agree.
But I don't look less on the Bills for this. I look at the Jets and I think this is a playoff team, right?
Yes.
That's how I see it.
Yeah, if you want to prove a statement, you gotta beat the Bills like that, and they did.
Yeah.
They did it.
Their defense
they're beaten.
Yeah. Whoa.
What?
The Jets. You said they're beating. I was like, oh. The Jets are. they have a great defense, and what Robert Saleh has been kind of working to get to, the place that he was reaching, like the places that he wanted to reach with this defense, like it feels like it's starting to get there, like the culmination of like these last few years of just not having a team that is talented enough to do what he wanted to do with his defense. With Sauce Gardner and with the young players of the defensive line, it's just and at linebacker too. Like that whole defense has just been really playing super well. The running game seems like it's still there. Like Carter's doing well. I feel like I've seen more Carter than Robinson, but I also just could be me that not really seeing the whole game. But he's doing well for them. And again, like, yes, Zach Wilson is not perfect, and he's still making enough mistakes where you do worry about his long-term, sustainability, and he will probably end up losing this team a few games. But when the rest of the team around you has the amount of talent that it seems like the Jets have, like, I feel like it's been an impressive showing for them, and I think that their schedule has some bumps in the road, but I don't think it's completely difficult for them not to make a run here at least a wild card berth.
I agree.
But yeah, there you go. A lot of exciting stuff this week. Lot of exciting games that were decided closely.
None more exciting than the Go Fuck Yourself game of the week.
Oh, yeah.
Which was the Green Bay Packers versus the Detroit Lions. Chris, I think it's I think that, do you remember like our overreactions week 1 or 2? How I called Aaron Rodgers washed up and old and a bad quarterback?
I think yes. I think that was exactly after week 1.
Yep, exactly after week 1. And how you were like, I wouldn't quite call it that yet. Would you call it now?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers is old and washed up and can go fuck himself. He played one of the worst games of his NFL career against the worst defense currently in football. The Lions didn't do that much better, but they're the Lions, and they won.
Yeah.
I said last week that I think that the Lions games will be the only games that the Packers will manage to win this year, and that they didn't beat the Lions. There's a chance this is a 3-win Packer team, Chris.
It's funny because we'll talk about this as well. You know what? Let's have this be a nice transition because
Okay, can I just say one more time? Fuck you, Aaron Rodgers.
Well, no, we'll continue talking about the Packers.
Okay,
we're still in a category. But I'm going to pivot to talking about the NFC North as a whole.
All right.
Because that's where I want to take our conversation to the division
cool.
stuff. Because I look at the Packers, and I'm like, the Packers are one of those teams. Buccaneers are also one of them. I always will have the Patriots as one of them. They're always that team where you're like, all right, they're sliding, they're struggling. When is the comeback going to start? When are we gonna see the hope get injected back into them? When are we gonna, because that's the aura that these teams have always given off, or at least the Bucs under Tom Brady, and of course the Patriots because of Tom Brady, and the Packers because of Aaron Rodgers. But anyways, I digress. And with the Packers this year, however, there just feels like something different. It just feels like this team is struggling badly to the point where you say that they're going to be a 3-win team. I did my predictions for the rest of this playoff, and I maybe did this because I also don't really like the Packers, and maybe I'm just biased. But I did not give them another win this year. I have them sitting at 3-14 for the rest of the year, and I don't think it's completely illogical for that to happen, and that's mainly because they do have a very tough schedule. Like, the easy part was the Lions. The easy part was supposedly going to be the Jets, or supposedly going to be, like, you were supposed to be this world-beating team, and you completely have bottomed out. And now when you look at the Vikings, a team that I think like they're 7-1. I'm not going to take that away from them, and I think that that this division is in their grasp pretty handily.
I don't see how the Vikings don't win this division.
Yeah, barring like some sort of major collapse, but this is their division to win. I think the only other team that's going to be really competitive in this division might be the Bears, and even then, it's just it would take a really nice run from the Bears, and again a collapse from the Vikings. But it's kind of wild. Like it feels like this was kind of a sudden fall from grace for the Packers, but also shouldn't be completely surprising given the fact that we've been kind of warning about the idea of if you don't have Devontae Adams, what do you have? And it's right now it's nothing.
You have nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah. I am more than here for the change of the guard. The Packers, Bears, and Vikings have had like it's a culture where it's like basically like a 3-way rivalry. Like both like fans of teams hate both of the other ones.
Sure.
I'm actually not that way with the Vikings. I do not mind the Vikings that much.
Right. Yeah. It's like me with the Eagles. Like I don't mind the Eagles, even though they're probably the biggest rivalry.
Yeah, I do not have the vitriol towards the Vikings that I have towards the Packers. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's just like when I started watching or really caring / like when I was a kid. When I was a kid, it was just like Packers.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I know a couple Vikings fans who are like fuck the Bears, like that kind of deal. But it's like I don't know, like. Change of the guard, I will gladly give it to the Vikings. They've earned it. Bears are coming. Bears are coming though. I like right now. NFC North to me is Vikings get it. Vikings get it this year, and then hopefully next year it'll be a nice competitive between the Vikings and the Bears, and the Packers can spend a year in irrelevancy trying to replace their quarterback.
Yeah.
Or stubbornly sticking Aaron Rodgers and having to continue to stink up everything because they stinked up themselves.
Well, yeah. Well, he's definitely playing next year if he chooses to.
Yeah, and he's going to be really shit at it.
Right. Here's the thing. I think that obviously the hope would be that he retires, but I'm worried that if he retires, he's going to get into politics, and I would be very concerned about that.
God. Fuck off with that.
I'm just being honest.
I understand your worry.
If I'm just being real honest here, that's scary.
Thank you for creating an anxiety for me.
I'm just sorry.
Having to hear this man more.
You're that kid with the sunglasses that had a T-shirt, no fear, and then I say that statement, and now it says one fear.
And now I have one fear. I have every fear, thanks to you.
Listen, I am just speaking to the fact that our world's a hellscape, and that is just an extra log of wood to throw on the fucking fire.
We're recording society. This on midterm election day, by the way.
Yeah, if you're wondering why I'm incredibly just depressed, that's probably why. Anyways, so to recap, I know we talked a lot about the Packers because obviously they're fun. It's fun to talk about their misery. And we've already talked a lot about the Bears. Again, I've been hard on the Vikings. I give them credit for being 7-1. Winning 6 in a row is very difficult. I just really would like to see them get a big victory for once. This Sunday is a perfect place for them. If they can get that win against the Bills, it is huge for them. And that to me would definitely be like, all right, you are for real, you're legit. Because right now, when you look at them, their best win is against the Skylar Thompson Dolphins, and every single one was a close game except for the Packers game. And so it's just that's why I'm just still a little bit hesitant about them. But they're 7-1. I can't take that away from them.
Yep.
All right. So then from there, let's talk. We usually do a dice roll for this, right?
Yeah. I don't have any dice around me.
Do you have let's go to the virtual Ball Boys Discord server. And let's roll a 1D. Oh wait, I forgot they have
/R.
Yeah, they have stupid fucking rules now.
New bot commands.
All right, let's do 1D8. That's a 3. I'm going to talk about the AFC East. I insured the NFC North, so you insure the AFC East if you want.
So the AFC East is currently the only division in football where every team is above 500.
Yeah,
this is a really good division, and I don't think I think it's a division that we like maybe saw some potential in, but not to this degree. I think preseason it was like, okay, Bills and Dolphins, yes, yay. Packers and Jets, nay. But Patriots and Jets are good, and so are the Dolphins, and so are the Bills. And all of these teams, I think, are going to be competitive with each other, which is insane to think about. Just kind of compared to how the season started. I think this division is not Buffalo's for the taking. I still think Buffalo will probably win it because they're the overall like most well-rounded team here. But out of the other three teams, I think it's anyone's game for who can make the playoffs.
Yeah. It's funny when we entered the season, we talked about the AFC West and how and we'll get to AFC West in a bit. How I know you've predicted what if all four of these teams in the AFC West make the playoffs? I feel like you get that scenario with the AFC East. That's not completely a insane scenario given the fact that you have a Jets team that's on the rise, a Dolphins team that's offense is one of the most impressive in the league, and the Patriots team that, hey, their offense is not that great, but their defense has been playing very well, and all they need is the offense just to make a couple of plays to kind of keep them in games and keep them competitive, right? So I think in all these scenarios, I would be stunned if the Bills don't win the AFC East, but I also think that it's going to be a competitive stretch. I think the one thing I would want to keep in mind with the Bills is that they have yet to play a division game at home, and I understand. I maybe hold home advantage in very high regard, but Buffalo is a very difficult place to play a football game. And so I think with the Jets and Dolphins, when they go to Buffalo, it might be a different environment. It's also gonna be fucking cold as shit up there by the time they do end up playing there. So I guess I just really still have the faith in the Bills that they still feel like the best team in the AFC for me, even with the 2 losses at this point. And I think that they will take care of business there, but. Again, all of these teams are interesting.
Yep. Josh Allen's slight injury gives me a bit like I'm holding the hand above the panic button, but I'm not pressing it yet.
Right. No, it's that if Josh Allen does go down with the injury for a couple of weeks, then there's issues. Because I think at that point I don't think it would take the Bills out of the playoff picture, but it might start to ruin their division hopes.
Yes.
That would be where my concern is for them. But we'll see. Let's talk AFC North. What a interesting division, because I would say that for the most part, none of these teams seem to have been playing well for a good chunk of the season. But I think we are starting to see the Ravens and Bengals kind of pull away and start to kind of find themselves, despite dealing with injury issues, dealing with not really having everyone, not having the cleanest of games. I think consistently you're kind of just starting to see oh wait, no, these are going to be the front runners for this division title. And I look at the Ravens right now, and I'm incredibly impressed with what they did on Monday night. I felt like the fact that they were able to do as an impressive a running game as they did with Lamar Jackson, who played out of his mind, and despite having their leading receiver have only 24 yards in that game. That was the most yards that a receiver had for the Ravens in that game. And granted, of course, they have multiple injuries at receiving positions, right? But
yep.
I just really feel good about them. The Bengals, I also feel pretty good about. Obviously, dealing with Jamar Chase being out is difficult, and I think that will lead to problems for them for a little bit, but I think once he comes back, I still believe that this Bengals team is going to be competitive, be in it, and it's going to be a race to the finish. But what do you think?
You don't get 5 touchdowns with one player on accident.
Yeah.
Like Joe Mixon has proven, and this comes from someone who had Joe Mixon in fantasy. So had a very nice day the other day. I think both of these teams have a lot of fight in them left. I am like hoping. My biggest hope right now is that the Ravens get Odell, because they won't have Rashad Bateman anymore. But Odell will be cleared to play soon. He's gonna be on a team before the end of the season. He's going to sign on a team before the end of the season. If the Ravens get Odell, that is a very, very good thing for them.
Yeah, I'm with you. The thing is, like, I do think they need receivers, but beyond that, I talked about their offense. Their defense has also been really, really good.
They got a lot better. Titus Bowser came back. They got Roquan Smith. They have been really solid on defense. This feels like a very well-rounded team, and like obviously the Saints are the best team in the world, but you can see the path from A to B with the Ravens team right now.
Yeah, Justin Houston too, like a guy who's a veteran who's there for a while. Like, he got the interception yesterday. Like, it just these things are really just clicking for the Ravens, and I think it'll be a race. Like I said, it'll be a race to a finish. I'm very curious to see how it plays out. One thing I will say, and Starfish, whatever, like that they're gonna keep on playing. To me, they're kind of irrelevant to the rest of the season. They did they won that game on Monday night, and I'll give them credit on that front. But I don't see that being a consistent thing for them, and I just think that they're probably gonna end up losing too many games by the time that Watson comes back for them to actually be relevant. And even then, we also don't know if he's even going to play well. He's been out for a year
I swear, the funniest outcome in all of this. Like, the best outcome is that he was never going to another team. The second best outcome is all this shit happens, and he sucks.
Right. I don't think they're going to be a playoff team at all, but keep an eye on the Steelers, because their next 4 games, besides the Bengals, are pretty easy for them, given the fact that TJ Watt is coming back.
Ooh.
And I think that defense, even with their offensive issues, I still think that their defense has enough in them to really be competitive in these games, like we saw against the Bucks a few weeks back. I just think that this team, I am not out on the theory that Mike Tomlin still isn't going to get a winning record somehow. And I think that this stretch is when that kind of starts to happen. It's not going to be enough to make the playoffs, but just enough to be like, hey, he did it again.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's see what's next on our division talk. You know what? We just talked 3 divisions. We're going to talk about 5 more. We're also going to give our midseason predictions and our picks. But before we do anything more, let's talk about our sponsors. Hi, everyone. It's Chris, and I'm back once again to tell you all about Anchor. Anchor by Spotify has actually been the tool of choice for Team Chaos Productions since the moment we decided to get into podcasting. And the biggest reason for this is it's the easiest way to make a podcast with everything you need all in one place. Anchor has tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your computer or even your phone. When hosting on Anchor, you can distribute your podcast on listening platforms like Spotify, but also Apple Podcasts and many more. And best of all, Anchor is free. You do not need to worry about any features being locked out to you. You can get it all if you just download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Happy podcasting.
Sick of talking about video games with people who just want to be toxic? Me too. So join us over at the Gaming Coop. We come together each month to talk about what we love about video games. Discussion topics range from our favorite soundtracks to the best relationships between characters. We also have some fun segments in which we play some trivia or build our school of gaming. Find us on Anchor or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Game on!
And we're back. All right.
That was fast.
That was a fast one. Yeah. Hold on. We'll roll again. That's a 2. Well, let's talk about the AFC South, Matt.
All right. So, AFC South. Finally having some clarity. This division started off with like, what the fuck is happening? Now I think it's a one horse race in the Tennessee Titans, but it's not a very fast horse.
It's not.
It's not.
Not by
outside of Derrick Henry, the Titans are struggling a little bit with like receivers and stuff. A receiver did not catch a pass in Sunday night's game. Only tight ends did.
Yeah.
Malik Willis is not that great of a football player, but Derrick Henry is, and they had some weird coaching decisions, almost won that game. I still think that the Titans are going to win the division, but similar to how they somehow finished number 1 last year, it's not going to be a pretty way. Texans are completely out of it. They suck. Jaguars, you want to be good, but some poor coaching decisions and just some less optimal play, not great for them. And then the Colts are tanking.
Yeah, no, I think we're in a position right now where if there's any team in their division that's gonna be maybe cause some competitive issues at this point, it's gonna be the Jags, and I don't think it's gonna be it's not gonna be a ton at this point, right? Like
no, especially with how their records are right now.
Yeah, I think that the Titans should be in fine shape once Tannehill comes back. Their defense has been playing really, really well, and that's kind of surprising given the fact that they were without Bud Dupree for that game. They've been without Harold Landry all season.
Mm-hmm.
Like their defense is still playing extraordinarily well, and that's you could credit Mike Vrabel for that. It's just kind of getting that offense to click, and I think with Tannehill being back in the lineup soon, I don't know if it'll be this week. I think it might. Well, actually, wait, are they on bye this week? I don't know.
No, they're playing.
Okay. Yeah, I think that they're going to be in good shape. They'll win the division. I was going to say something about the Jaguars, and now one thing I will say about the Jaguars, like you can absolutely see this. There's at least hope around the Jaguars, right? Like there's this not for this season necessarily, but just for the future.
Yep,
like,
I agree.
ETN being as good as he is right now, like that's a really good sign. Lawrence had one of his better games in against the Raiders, and he's also been building a lot of chemistry with his receivers. Christian Kirk has been really good for them as well. Like. Mm-hmm. He's the guy that like sparked this entire wide receiver market. So you know what? I'm glad that he's doing well. He gave us some fun. But I think it's really just their defense is giving them some issues, but even they still even at that point their defense has like a lot of good young players that could get better over time. So. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I championed the Jaguars as the AFC South champion. I don't think that's going to happen this year, but I do think that they can be somewhat competitive down the stretch, but at the very least, I think that they'll be a better team going into next year. Like I have faith in them. All right. Next up, I already rolled the dice here. We're going to talk NFC South. One of the worst divisions in football.
It's a really bad division.
Everyone sucks. And even when at some point you're like, oh, wait, this team did well. Let's hang on to that. They end up losing by 21 points the next week, Panthers. Granted, they lost the other game too, but it seemed like there could have been that they could have been at least competitive and interesting, but that did not it did not work out. I don't know, Matt. Like, I feel like the Bucks are probably gonna take it, but this has been a weird division. I feel like Brady has, unlike Rodgers, still has like these moments of like, oh shit, like he can still throw the football well. He still can really, lead a drive down the field, especially in a quick manner, like he did against the Rams. Like there's still signs of life with this Bucks team, and the defense still has some good players on it. Like I just think that this team feels like it should be winning the division. It's just not quite clicking right now. What is your forecast for this team?
You pretty much summed up everything. Like, now that Cordero Patterson's back, I legitimately think that the Falcons could make a run for it.
That's shit. Yeah, I forgot about
that. Which is a wild thing to say about a player and team, but Cordero Patterson is a really good football player that it's insane that it's taken this many teams to figure out. Yeah, I think that just overall it will probably be Tampa's division, but Atlanta's the only other team that I can see beating. Like, I think overall the Saints are better than Atlanta.
Sure.
But if a team is going to beat the Buccaneers, it will be Atlanta.
Yeah, I think the Saints have gone better on defense, and we saw against the Raiders how they do have the ability to really like hand a team an L, right? Like they can destroy a team if they wanted to. But
as long as they don't have many more games on primetime, they'll be okay because Andy Dalton is their quarterback.
Right. Oh yeah, Andy Dalton and Kirk Cousins are the same.
Yep.
They've never been in the same room together. But
they have many times.
Probably that's true. But yeah, I'm with you. I think it's gonna be it'll be a 3-man race. I think for this division where I think the Bucks are gonna pull away. I want to think that the Panthers could have done something, but yeah, PJ Walker having a really, really bad game against the Bengals kind of changes things, and maybe there's not going to be as much hope for them moving forward. But
he faced Kirk Cousins this season in London.
Yeah, that's. I think that your eyes were lying to you. That was just Kirk Cousins changing into his Saints uniform.
Put his
really
red
quickly.
wig on.
Yeah, they were just really quick costume changes. You don't see what happens during commercial breaks. No one sees. All right. Anyways, yeah, that's the NFC South. Weird division. Matt, what's your thoughts on the NFC East?
I think the NFC East might be one of the best divisions in football. Which is
better?
Not a sentence that should be uttered.
What's a better division? Here's a good one.
Okay,
AFC
better
East or the NFC East?
AFC East.
AFC East is better? I agree. I'm with you, I think.
Because the NFC East still has the Commanders.
Yes.
But the NFC East is really good. Obviously, you have the Eagles at the top of the division, the Giants, who have been the one of the surprises of the year, the Cowboys, who, despite like losing Dak for part of the season and just being the Cowboys, have been playing pretty good football, and I expect to can win a little bit more. It's probably going to be Philly's division just because Philly does not really have a lot of competition the rest of the year, but like it's a really good it's a really good division. Yeah. And I think that all the top 3 teams in the division are potentially playoff bound.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think it's weird, and when we get to our playoff predictions, I feel like I'll state the same thing again, but it just feels like the 7 NFC teams that will be making the playoffs feel very clear to me.
Interesting.
Maybe I'm wrong. I think the 3 NFC East teams here are the 3 that make it.
Okay.
Or 3 that will make it. I could be wrong. Maybe. I'll be curious where you're at too with your playoff predictions. But
I'm also curious.
But I look at I really like the Cowboys. I really do, and I think even if their offense hasn't been like this, like out of their mind, like amazing offense like it was in years past, they still have a really good run game. Dak Prescott's doing the thing that he gotta do, as a quarterback right now, and the defense is just playing so fucking good. And yeah. I think that if any team's gonna make a run at the Eagles, it's gonna be them. again, it could just be me as a pessimistic Giants fan. I think that they're gonna make the playoffs, but I don't know if it's gonna be for a long time. But
they're not winning a playoff game.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. Yeah, like I think they have an easy enough schedule down the stretch where they're gonna still be able to rack up quite a few wins, but I wouldn't be surprised if they have a losing have a losing record when you collect the last 9 games, meaning I think they could go 4-5 down the stretch, right? Yeah. That would not surprise me. But I think they make the playoffs. So I'm happy. I'm happy that in the first year of the Giants that they are as consistently winning as they are already, even without having the talent necessary to compete. I love that. And again, yeah, we've thrown so many flowers at the Eagles, but they once again, even when it got a little scary during that Texans game, that game wasn't in doubt for very long, and their defense is playing amazing. Their offense is so good. It's everything is just working for this Eagles team in a way that we haven't seen. This might be a better Eagles team than the 2017 when they won the Super Bowl. That's kind of where we're at with this Eagles. I'm going to talk about the AFC West real quick. It's the Chiefs. All right, let's move on to the NFC East. No, NFC West rather. But no, the Chiefs, I think, have it. The Chiefs are not playing their best football, but I think they are doing well enough where it's going to be hard for me to see the other 3 teams catching up. Chargers have been playing fine. They're doing fine. They're winning the games they need to, and that's good. They're kind of in a Viking situation for me where they're winning their games, but I need to see something more from them. I would like to see them really handle a team at some point. The Broncos are weird to me, obviously. And we could talk about the Russell Wilson stuff, but and they just traded Bradley Chubb, but I still really like this defense for the Broncos, and I think because of that, we're not going to be rid of the Broncos easily. I don't think they're making I don't know if they're making the playoffs. They could. It's a weird year for this conference, but I feel like if their defense continues to play well, and what happened in London maybe translates a little bit more to the rest of the year, and the offense just plays well enough where they could stay in these games, I'm not gonna count out the Broncos completely. I don't think the Broncos are a good team right now, but they could be down the stretch. I just think that they have a defense that can do that for them. Raiders are a mess. What about you?
Yeah, I don't even think the Broncos are in it, to be quite honest with you. They have a really good defense, but it's not going to be enough for this division, especially without Bradley Chubb. It's the Chiefs. The Chargers would... I still want to believe in, but they've just been so marred by injury, and I think that's going to continue affecting them a lot. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It's the Chiefs and no one else, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, when I say the Broncos are, I don't mean in the division race. I'm just talking about in the AFC field. I feel like I think they have a strange aura around them at this point, where it feels like they should be just blown out by every single good team, but I just get this feeling that they're going to have these games where we want to count them out, but they're going to be in it, and it's going to be because of the talent that they do have on defense. I know Bradley Chubb is a big loss, but he was not the main reason why that defense was playing very well. Their secondary was playing well. They still have a lot of pass rushers that have been playing well. A good defense, especially when you get into the later months in the winter, is a very good thing to have. And if the offense at all can start clicking a little bit more, that could make them competitive. I don't have spoiler, I don't have them in the playoffs, but I'm just saying that could be a thing to watch out for. But Matt, close us out with the NFC West.
The NFC West is one of the strangest divisions in football because one of the worst teams going into the year, the Seattle Seahawks, is currently in the lead, while the Super Bowl champions are floundering towards the bottom.
It's wild.
It's wild, but it's really fun.
Yeah.
I love this division. It is very fun to watch every game because every single matchup feels like it could go either way.
Yeah.
And, the Seahawks are a really good team somehow. The 49ers have a second life. I'm curious how they'll continue to do with Christian McCaffrey after this bye week. The Rams floundering. The Cardinals getting some juice left in them. Maybe could do something. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Maybe not. Probably not. But they will be annoying, and I don't think they're gonna go very far.
Sure,
but they'll be annoying.
That's a good way to. I think that's a good statement to have. I think
cool.
I like annoying for the Cardinals. Yeah, just start with them. I feel like they are just consistently not great. They're not awful. They play, they have some good, games where the defense can get a stop. They have games where Kyler Murray can make a run. But I just feel like every game there's a mistake. Every game there's something that they fall apart with. And it's just man, this they've definitely gotten a little bit better with Hopkins back, but it is still not been good enough to win some of these games, and the mistakes are still there. I just don't know how Cliff Kingsbury or Steve Keim have a job when the season's out.
They've really been fucking it up.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with the Cardinals, but the Rams feel even worse to me.
Yeah, I definitely feel like Rams are the worst team.
Yeah, their offense has just completely flatlined, and maybe it's the lack of receivers outside of Kupp, maybe it's the offensive line, maybe it's the lack of run game. I don't know. I don't know what it is with this Rams team, but they have just completely bottomed out. And even with the special players on defense, it's not been enough to keep them competitive in these games. It's a wild turnaround for a Super Bowl champion to be this bad. But granted, I mean, we've seen it before, going going to the Eagles, right? They won that Super Bowl in 2017, and I think they had a losing record the next year. It's not completely out of the question that a Super Bowl team has a hangover. The Super Bowl winning team has the hangover and really bottoms out. But it is rough. It is just really rough with this Rams team, and if they don't get better soon, they're going to be a disaster for the next 5 or 6 years because of all the defense, all the draft capital they traded away, all of trying to be good now. That is going to bite them in the ass when they are no longer a team that free agents want to go to, or you don't have trade capital to use, or you don't have draft capital to use in either trades or picking up new players. It's a big ol' yikes situation with the Rams.
Yep.
But to speak on the Seahawks, they've been so good. I'm all in on this team. I would still like their defense to get better, but there's been a lot, again. The theme of this year feels like you have younger players as a unit kicking ass for teams and making them better than what we expected. And I think the Seahawks defense is like that in that sense, but still not amazing, but good enough where they're winning the games. And of course, Geno Smith is having a fucking career year. It absolutely helps that he's in a situation that, that Pete Carroll is able to run the offense that he's always wanted to run, it feels like. And Kenneth Walker is playing really, really well. It's a really good offensive unit, and they're gonna be in the playoff mix, and they're gonna maybe win this division. I just like the 49ers move for McCaffrey enough and their defense enough where I feel like now I'm starting to see that this year for the 49ers, like, this could be a big year for them. They could make a run here. I feel really good about this team moving forward.
I do as well. It's going to be really interesting to see how everything plays out.
And with that, let's see how we think it's going to play out. Matt, what is your updated NFC playoff predictions?
All right, my updated NFC playoff predictions. Philadelphia, number 1. Minnesota, number 2. Seattle, number 3.
Okay.
I think Seattle will win the division.
Okay.
And Tampa Bay will come out on top in the suck zone. Wild card teams, Dallas, San Francisco, and the New York Giants, baby. Let's go.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So, I am not very far off from you on this one. I have the Eagles at number 1. I have number 2. I have the 49ers.
All right, I'm totally fine with that. I wanted to just have fun and have the Seahawks win.
No,
49ers winning also.
I think the Seahawks could absolutely win the division. I'm just thinking, like, who might I trust in long term? It might be the 49ers, but I could be wrong about that. The Vikings are 3, Buccaneers are 4, and pretty much the same order here of the wildcard teams. Dallas Cowboys at 5, Seattle Seahawks at 6, New York Giants at 7. So you and I are on the same page. That's why I was saying, like, it feels like the NFC, as weird it's been, it feels like it has a clear 7 teams in the NFC mix. Again, the only team I really think could make a run here in the playoffs might be the Bears, and that's about it.
And I don't even think the Bears are not gonna make it.
But that's the thing. Like, it's like everyone else just feels like too much of a disappointment to make it at this point. My AFC playoff predictions: the Buffalo Bills. I still have those as the 1 seed. That, of course, barring Josh Allen, and I know everything that. But right now, if Josh Allen's playing this week and he's still playing moving forward, I'll have the Bills as my number 1 seed. Number 2 is the Chiefs. Number 3 is the Titans. I don't know how this ended up happening, but I have at the 4 seed is the Baltimore Ravens. I don't know how I have the Titans have a better record, but maybe it's because I do have faith in them with Tannehill coming back and their defense playing so well, especially down the stretch for the season. My wildcard teams: New York Jets at 5, Cincinnati Bengals at 6, Miami Dolphins at 7. What
Chris, it is insane. We have the exact same playoff teams.
So, what's the order? Is the order different?
Different order.
Yes.
AFC, I actually had Kansas City pulling out the top spot.
Okay.
Partial Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Related.
Yeah.
But Buffalo does get number 2.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I also had Tennessee 3, Baltimore 4.
Interesting.
And I didn't like plan out the things or anything. I was just like, you know what? We got you got the whole like just the AFC North being weird, Baltimore as a team not being quite up to snuff. So this is kind of what I went with.
Yeah, I mean, it comes down to having a competitive division, and because of that, having probably at more risk of losing games versus the Titans. Maybe that's just what it comes down to.
Yep. Yeah, that's probably the reason. And then I flipped the Jets and the Dolphins. I have the Dolphins at 5.
Okay.
Cincinnati at 6. Jets at 7.
Yeah, if I look at my playoff predictions, I'm pretty sure it's pretty close. Oh no, so I have the Jets at 12-5, Bengals 11-6, Dolphins 10-7. But I also could see that that's probably because I think I might have picked the Jets to win against the Dolphins again. I don't know.
That makes sense.
I don't know what maybe I did in that situation, but that's that all. I think both of our playoff predictions plays out. Now, before we do our Super Bowl predictions, let's talk our redo for our awards.
Yeah.
I will start with Offensive Player of the Year, and I will shift focus here. This was a tough one because I think you have Tyreek Hill, maybe narrowing the gap here, but I still think Justin Jefferson's going to win this award. What about you?
I'm going to say that this player is going to have such a good second half of the year that it's going to be impossible not to give it to him. Christian McCaffrey.
Oh shit. I love that. I see. I'm just leading into like the mid-season shit, and I was just like, oh yeah, I didn't even think about projections like that. There you go. What about your defensive player of the year?
Defensive player of the year, saves the start of the season, Micah Parsons.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think he's and he's proven it. And the Cowboys as a whole, that unit is so much better with him playing as well as he has. Offensive rookie of the year, I went with Kenneth Walker III. I think that he's just playing really, really, really well for Seattle, and that he's a big reason why they're winning as many games as they are.
He is. That's a really good one. Just for sake of disagreeing for a little bit, I'm going to say Chris Olave.
Oh fuck, that is actually a good one. I like that. Yeah, because he is really showing up big for the Saints.
He is like the reason that the Saints are even competitive.
Yeah, 100%.
It feels like.
I'm with you. And then, what's your defensive rookie?
Oh, Sauce Gardner.
Me too, mate.
The reason the Jets are so good.
Yeah.
One of the reasons.
We are aligned defensively, I see. Sauce Gardner is he's one of the best cornerbacks in the league already. Like,
yep.
that is just the straight up truth. Who is your coach of the year?
My coach of the year, I decided to go with Nick Sirianni.
Yeah, I feel like that makes sense. He deserves a ton of credit. He should win. I am, and you know what? It's maybe a bummer that I am picking. I'm picking. I should pick the New York Jets coach of Robert Saleh, but for the sake of not repeating a team, I'll just do Brian Daboll, because you know what? He deserves it as well. Yeah. They all deserve it. The New York teams are playing very well.
All right.
My
comeback player of the year.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Travis Etienne.
I like it.
I feel like he's playing really well. And I think down the stretch he might even be one of the best running backs in the league if he continues to play it the way that he has. Yeah,
he's doing great. I'm gonna go with a little bit different one. Geno Smith, baby.
That's not bad. You always think of a comeback being like an injury thing, but like
injury, yeah. But no, it's just like you get a season,
yeah, that
is better than the seasons that you've had before.
100%. All right, MVP. You want to start with this?
Sure. This is slight Josh Allen injury related, which again I don't think is that big of a deal, but just in case I decided not to choose him.
Yeah.
And just wanted to mix things up a little bit. I've got Jalen Hurts.
Me too, baby.
All right.
I have Jalen Hurts. Yeah. I'm with you. Like I think even if Josh Allen does come back, like I feel like Hurts deserves so much credit for this run, and I feel like he doesn't get enough of it. Like he is the way that he plays on the ground and then through the air, like he's just been so accurate this year.
Almost like a Josh Allen type.
He's a Josh Allen type, right? Exactly. No, yeah, he's doing so well. I'm very happy with. I would be very happy for him if he wins MVP.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, Matt, your updated ? Super Bowl pick.
I mean, when you call your shot preseason like I do, and halfway through the year, and it seems like the most likely outcome, there's no fucking way I could move off of that, can I?
Yeah.
Eagles, Bills win it.
Yeah. That's the correct prediction, I think, at this point.
Yep. And it feels the most chalk, and I don't like picking chalk.
That's fair. But you did it. You called your shot.
But nobody. I'm sure some people did, but not enough people had the Eagles as their number one NFC team preseason, like I did.
Right. No, I think that makes a lot of sense. Again, the fact that you called it preseason is what I'm about to say is not an indictment on you at all, because you called your shot and it's very impressive. But the Bills and Eagles is now the tired prediction of the Super Bowl.
I agree.
The more wired prediction,
God damn it,
is I'm gonna go. Yeah, this is. This is maybe you could say maybe it's biased for recent play. Maybe it's more wishful thinking about how the season might play out. I don't know. I just feel like the way that these teams are going to probably play down the stretch and the type of play that they are going to be focused on is really going to play well in the winter months, and it's going to play really well as they move on to the Super Bowl. I think Ravens over 49ers is my prediction for the Super Bowl.
That would be an incredible football game.
Yeah, I think that it's a Super Bowl rematch, but it is Lamar Jackson and that run game working, firing on all cylinders versus the 49ers that have so many weapons with McCaffrey and Samuel and just everyone working together. And it's going to be just one of the most run heavy, exciting Super Bowls out there. I just this is just me trying to go against the grade. I also have a chaos pick.
Okay.
I'm going to say, just put it out there. It's not my actual Super Bowl prediction. Jets over Seahawks. All right, that's it. That's it. That's all I wanted to say.
That would be the weirdest Super Bowl of all time.
I just want to throw it out there as a chaos prediction. All right, that's all. You know, should I maybe have just leaned into it and said Jets over Giants? Maybe, but I like the Seahawks. I really like where the Seahawks are at. But no, my actual prediction is Ravens over 49ers. All right. There you go. Big old mid-season special, but we still got some games to pick, so let's go ahead and do that. Last week, Matt, you and I, after disagreeing on 4 games, including a super fucko, like this, I missed. I forgot that I guaranteed the Seahawks, so we didn't get to celebrate the super fucko, our first super fucko, I believe, of the season. And so we missed out on that, but we disagreed on 4 matchups and we split. You got the Vikings Jaguars right. I got the Seahawks right for the Super Fucko, and then the Buccaneers I also got right. So, walking away from this week, we both went 9-4, got 5 points.
Nice.
Walsh went 7-6, and you
not bad,
right,
respectable.
If you may say, Chris, maybe this proves that that picking games is a crapshoot, and I say, not so fast. Walsh is just a genius. All right.
Yep, that's the deal. You have to.
That's just.
You have to be a special type of person,
exactly.
Like Matt Walsh is.
Exactly. That's where we're at. All right, let's dive into these picks here. It is an even number week, so I believe that means you start.
Sure. I didn't know we had a pattern to that.
I did. I've been remembering every single season because I started week 1 talking Bills Rams, and so I've been going back and forth every single time. It's been
cool.
Fun. I've been good.
All right, Falcons Panthers Thursday Night Football. Both of these teams are in a with what's going on. Falcons had some life breathed into them against the Chargers, and the Panthers have fallen back down into the basement from their rise. Do the Panthers stand a chance?
First of all, I think that this is why you come to the Virtual Bowl Boys podcast for analysis such as these teams are. But anyways, the fact that these teams are playing twice in a 10-day span, usually that makes me think like, okay, the other team is going to win because that's usually how these things go. I just don't really have that much faith in the Panthers, so I'm going with the Falcons. I hate this game.
Cordero Patterson, baby.
Yeah, that's also a factor as well. Like,
yep.
Him coming back is going to be big.
Yep, absolutely picking the Falcons here.
All right, we're heading to Deutschland? Is Deutschland
Deutschland? Yeah.
Yeah, we're heading to Deutschland, Germany. The Seattle Seahawks take on Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Maybe a sneaky good game. Who knows? The Seahawks are your NFC West leaders. The Buccaneers not been playing great, but they are coming off a win against the Rams. What do you think is going to happen here?
This is the Seahawks' big test. I think if they can beat the Buccaneers, this is a statement win for them that they are the team that they have been, right?
Right.
That said, I'm picking the Seahawks. Of course, I'm picking the Seahawks.
Yeah, I was like, wow.
I love to see the Seahawks win. I just wanted to fake you out.
Yeah, no, I was like, wow, that would have surprised me. So yeah, no, I'm with you. I am also going with the Seahawks here.
Next up, Minnesota Vikings take on the Buffalo Bills. Chris, you mentioned earlier this is the test for Minnesota.
Yes, indeed.
What?
Yeah, no, yeah, I agree.
Yep. Yeah. For the Buffalo Bills, this is a way to get back. We'll see how Josh Allen's injury affects him overall. What do you think is going to happen?
Yeah, the thing is that let's say Josh Allen is going to be out this week, and you have Case Keenum in there. Case Keenum, of course, a former Vikings quarterback. Who did he throw to for that Minneapolis Miracle? Stephon Diggs. They're still there. They could pull off, if Case Keenum is the starter, they also could pull off a miracle against the Minnesota Vikings and win this game. I'll say this, regardless of how the injury status works out for Josh Allen, I do think the Bills are a better team, but I'm going to team chaos the Minnesota Vikings. I just feel like I've been mean to the Vikings. I've been saying that I don't really believe in them. I'm going to put my chips in. I'm going to say I'm all in on the Vikings for right now. I'm going to see if they can do this. I'm going to put my faith behind them. If they let me down, I'm going to be sad. But you know what? For now, team chaos, Minnesota Vikings.
Alrighty. I'm going to take the Bills, but I like the gumption.
Yeah, right. I'm all about that gumption. Next up. I'm not really, actually. I don't really like taking risks that much. The Detroit Lions at the Chicago Bears. You know what? Intriguing matchup. I like this matchup. I feel like this is going to be a fun one to watch. I know these are the on paper, the records, maybe like, they're two losing teams. But the Bears have been fun, and the Lions are coming off a big win that maybe things might be coming together for them a little bit better. I don't know. What do you think is going to happen this game, Matt?
I think the Bears are going to have a fantastic outing.
I agree.
And I'll get to watch the Bears win once this season.
Yeah.
I mean, they've won 3 times, but
yeah, I was gonna say,
yeah,
you sound so down on this Bears team, man. I believe that this is the type of game that the Bears should take care of. I think that this can put them in a good position.
The Bears stock is going up. Watching them beat the Patriots is fun, and then playing close with the Cowboys and Dolphins, very good too.
Yes, I believe in the Chicago Bears. I am picking them as well.
Next up, Denver Broncos versus the Tennessee Titans. Both teams kind of in a weird spot. Titans just losing a close game to the Chiefs. May have Tannehill back versus the Broncos being the Broncos. Not much changed about them.
Yeah, I feel like if Malik Willis is starting this game, it might get closer. It might become a little bit on the weird side. I'm pretty sure Tannehill's coming back this week. I don't know. I'm gonna go Titans just because I have more faith in them right now than I do the Broncos. But I don't know. It's a weird game for me. Yeah. What about you?
It is. I'm also picking the Titans. This is I'm predicting right now that this will be the go fuck yourself game of the week. Because it usually involves the Broncos, and these are 2 good defenses. So,
right? No, yeah, I definitely am with you that's probably a likely scenario here. Next up is the Jaguars at the Chiefs. Jaguars coming off their victory over the Raiders, their comeback victory over the Raiders. The Chiefs, of course, needed to come back in their game, and they got it done in overtime. What do you think is going to happen in this one?
I don't think I could disrespect Patrick Mahomes, who threw 68 passes.
Yeah.
In the game, and pick the Jaguars, so I'm going to pick the Chiefs.
Yeah, I'm also picking the Chiefs. The Jaguars could be frisky, but I just need to see it from them. I need to see them take out a big threat like this. This is kind of like what the Vikings are for this week. The Jaguars obviously in a much worse position. They're not they're not winning anything, but like if they want to have any shot the rest of the way, this is a game that you would like to see them win.
Yep. Next up, Cleveland Starfish versus the Miami Dolphins. Tua playing fantastic. Browns coming off of a bye, but after a Monday night win. That felt like so long ago, Jesus Christ. No, they came off a bye. The Monday night win was before that. I don't know what time is anymore. Do they stand a chance against the Dolphins?
You know what, man? Like, a bye is a bye, and that could go a long way. But I just really love this Dolphins offense, and I just think against a defense that has played well at times, but I don't think has been consistent for the Starfish. I think that the Dolphins are going to get it done. It's in their home stadium. I'm going Dolphins.
I'm also going Dolphins to a train.
Yeah. Next up, the Houston Texans at the New York Giants. This is the Giants coming off of a bye. Texans lost the Eagles last week. I kind of forgot they played last week, but again, that's what happens when you play on Thursday. What's gonna happen in this game?
I think the Giants are going to win.
Yeah.
Giants are going to claim their spots in the playoffs and continue towards that.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm gonna go Giants. Would I be stunned if they lost this game? No, but like at the same time,
It's the Texans, Chris.
It's the Texans, right?
Texans did kind of play well against the Eagles, though.
That's why. Well, that's why I mean. Like, I'm just like, would I be shocked if the Texans win this game? No, but I'm gonna stick with the Giants. It's got so much anxiety around this team. But yes. Anyways.
All right. New Orleans Saints take on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Saints coming off of their pretty kind of close-ish game against the Ravens versus the Steelers coming off their bye. Get TJ Watt back?
I believe that is the plan right now.
Okay, so they may get TJ Watt back, may affect some things. What do you think is going to happen in this matchup?
I called my shot a little bit during our AFC North preview, where I think that this Steelers team could make a comeback with their defensive players at back. Based off of some reporting, or I don't know if it's reporting or if it's just guesswork. It sounds like the Steelers are trying to work around some things, try to figure out some changes coming for them, and I don't know. I'm just not really impressed with Dennis Allen as a head coach for this Saints team versus a Mike Tomlin led Steelers team that is getting their best defensive player back. So I'm going with the Steelers.
I'm gonna go with the Saints here. It's not a confident pick, but it might be because I'm guaranteeing the Saints.
Oh,
I don't know. There's something about the Saints that I still do kind of like.
Okay.
And I could see them coming up over the Steelers, which are just not a great team.
No, yeah, no, I'm with you. I just think I feel like the Steelers are they're getting healthier, and I think that's gonna make them. I just remember what happened week 1, and how absolutely dominant they could be when fully healthy on defense. I feel like with the way that the Saints offense has been playing, granted Chris Olave is helping them. It's just giving me weird vibes. This game is giving me weird vibes in general. I'll stick with the Steelers though.
Cool.
Next up, the Colts at the Raiders. God, what a fucking mess of a game. Raiders had a 17-0 lead against the Jaguars, and then completely blew it. Just fucking shat their pants. Caca all over the field. All right.
Jeez.
Colts never had a chance against the Patriots. Then they fired the head coach, and then they hired their a Pro Bowl center who has no fucking head coaching experience to lead a team that's also being led by Sam Ehlinger, who has not been playing very well. Complete mess. What do you think is going to happen in this game?
I think the Raiders will win, but it's not confident.
No,
I'm not confident, but I'm going to pick the Raiders.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm going with the Raiders, but I don't have any faith in that process whatsoever.
Yeah.
Next up,
Dallas Cowboys versus the Green Bay Packers. Green Bay Packers are floundering. They stink like the worst cheese that you've ever had. The back of the fridge cheese that's been there way too long. That's the Packers right now.
Owie.
Versus the Dallas Cowboys, who have a great offense, have a great defense. Can the Cheeseheads survive this matchup?
No way, no how, my friend. I am guaranteeing the Dallas Cowboys.
Woo!
I really just feel like this is a bad Packers team, and I just don't see how they could adjust against one of the best defenses in the league. I don't see that improvement happening now. I'm going with the Cowboys.
You also look at Romeo Doubs, who's going to be out for a while. You look at Randall Cobb, who's on IR. You look at Christian Watson, who is dealing with concussion stuff. So the Packers have even less receivers than they had before.
Right.
Aaron Jones went out with an injury last week. Go fuck yourself, Green Bay, picking Dallas.
Damn right. Next up, the Cardinals at the Rams. Oh God, I really hate this game too.
They wanted this to be a good game.
Yeah, but hey, both of these teams have been weird, and so who will take advantage of the other's weirdness?
Absolutely, the Cardinals will take advantage of the Rams' weirdness.
I'm with you. I'm also going Cardinals. I again, I'm not a fan of the Cardinals this year. I feel like they've just been very sloppy, but the Rams just really are really bad. They're just really bad. And it's just time to just accept that.
Sunday night, waiting all day for Sunday night. We got the Los Angeles Chargers versus the San Francisco 49ers. Both teams in an interesting spot, and I think both teams kind of going in different directions. Will the 49ers be able to continue their offensive rise, or will the Chargers put a stop to it?
I think I picked the 49ers to make the Super Bowl in week 1. I picked them to make it to the Super Bowl in the start of week 10 here. I just believe in this team. I think that they're going to do really, really well. I'm picking them. Chargers, I really do want to see more from them. Maybe this is the game that they prove that, but I'm going 49ers.
Yeah, I'm too much of a Christian McCaffrey fan to not pick the 49ers here.
Yeah, completely.
I need him for my fantasy team.
Now, Matt, I'm going to stop you real quick.
Yeah. Yeah, hey, yeah, Chris?
Are you... You haven't said your chaos yet.
Correct.
Okay, just curious. All right. Yeah.
Yep.
Next up, the Commanders at the Eagles.
Well, I think that gives it away now, doesn't it?
The Eagles are because I'm getting the sense. I'm just getting a sense here. The Eagles are 8-0, and the Commanders just completely blew it against the Vikings. What do you think is going to happen here?
They blew it against the Vikings, but they were competitive against the Vikings.
They've been competitive in every game. That's why They've
been competitive in every game and have blown it, right? I don't know. Like the Eagles are going to lose at some point.
That's fair.
Which is your argument with the Titans last week, and it kind of worked out. So
yeah,
Taylor Heinicke is better at football than maybe everyone expected. So I'm gonna pick the Commanders as my team chaos. I want the Eagles to win, but I'm just picking the Commanders because why not?
Yeah. That's fair. I just like. I guess what my argument was for the Vikings was just like I feel like that they were winning. They've been winning so much that in such close fashion and not really showing dominance, and that's why I picked the Commanders in that game. And they almost did it, and they had a 2-score lead, and then they fucking blew it. The Eagles, I just feel like are a different story. Look, I'm making a big deal of this. You're probably you might end up being right about it, and the Commanders could be surprising. I'm done giving hope to the Commanders at this point. So I'm gladly going to pick the Eagles in this situation.
Cool.
But yeah, there we go.
It's chaos for a reason.
Damn right. No, I know. No, again, I trust me when I say if the Commanders win on Monday, I will look like an ass when we record on Tuesday, and that's totally fine. I accept my consequences for the consequences for my actions. But regardless, we have 3 disagreements then for this week. That is the Vikings chaos. I chaos the Vikings against the Bills. You chaos the Commanders against the Eagles, and of course the other disagreement was the Saints at Steelers, which you also have a guarantee on the Saints. My guarantee, mini fucko, and then the Cowboys I guaranteed as well. So that's
there's no standard fucko. There's super and there's mini.
The super and mini. The fuckos are the friends we've made along the way. No,
they're true fuckos.
They're the true fuckos. There you go. But anyways, that is it for this episode of the Virtual Ball Boys podcast. We will be back next week. We will we will probably start building our VBFL teams. We'll start by creating our first one. Matt, maybe this is off camera question, but you still have that map that kind of
Oh,
indicates...
I got the map.
You got the map. All right.
I got the map.
All right, cool. That was my big thing. Just kind of keep making things different, changing things up here. I think this might be. I mean, it depends on how long we end up doing the VBFL in general. But if we do have a fourth season after this one, maybe we even go beyond the United States at some point. Maybe that's something that we'll keep in mind. But
bonjour.
Or maybe we think about it right now. But regardless, we'll see what we'll do. But definitely picking a team or making a team next week. Exciting stuff. But anyways, thank you all so much for listening, and we will see you next week.
Good night and good ball. Virtual Ball Boys has been brought to you by Team Chaos Productions. Find us on Twitter at Virtual Ball Boys and find more of our work at Team Chaos Pods.